Well, hello everybody. Hello. Um, so excited to be here. Welcome to our very first mystery painting event. And this is the November mystery painting event. So, as we wait for everybody to come on, I would love for you to go ahead and say hi so I know that we're here. I think we actually have something like 70 or 80 people that said they wanted to come to this event this morning, which is amazing and exciting. So I'm waiting for everyone to kind of refresh their browsers. In the meantime, I would love for you to just say hi. Tell me if you're painting with me and tell me where you're painting from, like what part of the country. Look at all these wonderful people coming on. Um, Margie, Margaret, Felicia, Michelle. I'm so happy you're here too. Cindy Alexander, Vincent, Melanie. Michelle is from Missouri representing. Stacy Smith. Hey Stacy, I want you to stay on for a couple minutes if you can because I've got a little surprise for you. Denise, Nancy, Candy, Tammy, Trista, Cindy, Michelle. I hope I haven't missed anyone yet. Nancy is from Florida. Joanne is in Alabama. Look at all of these wonderful new friends we have. Lori's in Florida. Carrie made it. You got the horses fed. Francine, Shayla, Ruth, Vince. Hello, Oh, isn't this exciting, you guys? Isn't this exciting? And I really appreciate you showing up for this event. Um, we've got everyone representing. Look at this. If you guys can see the comments, Denise is in Oklahoma. We've got Sue Marilette. We've got Texas, Narita, Leilani from Idaho. Just amazing, you guys. Absolutely, absolutely exciting and amazing. So, first disclaimer as we begin this event, I just want to say that if I have any internet issues on my end, hopefully I won't. But if for any reason the live event like pauses and kind of hangs, just wait for it to come back on, and I can kind of see on my screen if it's pausing. Denise is from Myrtle Beach. Wow, and Shayla and Constance. I can't keep up with all you wonderful people. I really, really appreciate everybody coming on. So, again, if we have a little lull in the Wi Fi, just wait and it should come back on, and I can see on my screen if that were to ever happen or get interrupted. If for any reason the live absolutely gets interrupted and ends, I will also see that on my screen, and then I will just come back on. Okay, so I'll just wait for you all to come back on. So fingers crossed that will not happen today. We're going to have a really good event. So, okay, I was just getting a phone call, so okay, I'm back. Someone was just trying to give me a phone call. So I guess that's the other thing that could happen is if I get a phone call, the live is going to pause and interrupt for a second. Yes, everyone lost me for a second, so I'm glad I put that disclaimer there. So someone was trying to call my phone. It paused the situation. So if that happens again, if anyone's texting me or calling me, just hang out for a minute and just sit like this with your fingers crossed that I can come back. Okay? Look at everybody here. This is wonderful. So, while you guys are all here, I want to do just a mini little shout out if you can. You guys, today is Chase's 20th birthday. And he doesn't know I was going to do this. He's watching with his mom. And if you all could just say happy birthday to Chase, wouldn't that just be fun? So, everyone say hi to Chase. And Chase, I hope you're having a really happy birthday. And and I just hope you have a wonderful day and that you can paint with us. He's got to run and do a birthday event, but hopefully he can come back and paint with us. So I just thought that was kind of fun to do that. So everybody say happy birthday to Chase. Okay. We have a wonderful, wonderful group of people here. So I am going to be painting on an 8x10 canvas panel today. And I know I told you guys could use like an art journal page or an actual stretched canvas, but I'm going to stay in this smaller size, and it would be best if you do that too, so that we can all paint along together. And the other thing that I want to let you know, to reassure you, is that if you are a beginner painter, I'm going to do a version of this to show you that you can be painting along with us and just be doing the beginner level, okay? So I want everyone to have a really happy, enjoyable time doing this. If at any point you think I'm going too fast, you can go ahead and say that in the comments, and I'll slow down, and I'll be happy to wait for you. But hopefully I'll be going at a pace that you'll be able to keep up with. Also, remember that this video is going to be available for replay right after the broadcast. So if some of you are just okay, and I'm back. I'm sorry, someone keeps trying to call my phone, so I hope that's not an emergency happening, because it's actually coming from the barn where my horse is. So hopefully if it's an emergency, she'll text me. So fingers crossed on that too. Okay, so let's talk about our supplies for today. So I've got, for me, I've got a styrofoam plate, and oh, it just conveniently happens to have a little advertisement on it. So I've also got chalk. Now, if you guys were not successful in finding chalk, you can absolutely still do this painting with us by using like a really light gray paint. So don't stress about that at all. So I've got my plate. This is where I'm going to mix my paint. I've got my chalk. I've got my two brushes I'm going to use today, which is, I call this like a medium flat brush, and then a small round tip brush. This has a really nice sharp tip if you twirl the paint to get your details, okay? And then I've got two water containers. I like having two water containers in case one gets messy. I can just go right to the fresh one so that I don't have to get up. Oh, Gina, you're a beginner, and Michelle, oh, I am so excited you're here, and I really hope you have a really fun experience. I think you're gonna think this is just really cute, and I hope and easy. So I also have a hair dryer. I think this is kind of important for our first layer, to make sure that first layer is dry so that we can proceed. So I hope you all have a hair dryer. And we have our water. I've got some napkins that when I take my brush out of the water, I'm going to just, you know, wipe my brush to be too wet. I'm getting another interruption on the signal, which is really making me nervous at this point. We're back. Are y'all back with me? Gosh. Okay, and then let's talk about paint. We are going to be using red, black, and white. Red, black, and white. I know, right, Sharon? But here's the thing. The phone is recording the whole event, so that is the tricky part. I know. Let's start. Exactly, Sharon. Let's start. So if everyone is ready to start, let's start with our white. And then we're going to start with our black, and we're going to put our black kind of over here because we're going to be doing some mixing in between here. So there's our black. You don't need a whole lot of black. Black goes a long way. And then we're going to be using the red later, so we're not going to pour that red right out right now, okay? So if everyone's ready to go with their paint, we're going to get started. Now, if you're using your canvas and it's a rectangle, you have the choice whether to use it this way or use it this way, okay? Either way is fine. I'm just going to use it this way. So we're going to dip your, just dip your brush in some water just to get the bristles going, and we're going to use our medium flat brush, and we're just going to wipe your brush. We're going to start out with this guy. Okay? Okay. So what I want to do first is create a gray in between here. So we're going to be doing some mixing. So let's pull some of this white over to the middle a little bit, like let's say half. Let's go with half right now. Pull that over, kind of push the paint off of there, and then we're going to just dip our brush a little bit, just a little bit, and start swirling this paint around and mix it really good, because we're not going for it. You see how that I call this ice cream. That ice cream effect, we don't want any ice cream this time. So we just want to really kind of mix it, stay in this area till we get kind of a nice little medium gray here. It's a nice gray. If it looks too light for you, you can pull some more white in. If it's way too dark already, you know, pull some white in. I'm sorry, if it's too light. If it's too light, you can dab a little black in there. But we would just want like a nice medium. I think I'm going to go a little bit darker there. Okay. That's a nice gray. Now, if I ever tell you to paint fast, you know, don't linger, because there's a reason to paint fast. If we're working with wet paint and I want some blending to happen, we have to paint fast. And then there's other times I'll tell you to paint slow. Okay? So I don't want you to stress out. It's like, oh, I don't want to paint fast. Go ahead and be free and paint fast. All right, so let's start with, let's kind of start with this gray. And we're going to start right in the middle of our painting, and we're going to be kind of at an angle, and we're going to be doing some cross hatching. So cross hatching is just back and forth, really easy, really free, just getting paint onto the canvas. Now, if you're painting on an art journal paper page, you're going to have a slightly different experience with your paper, because it's going to absorb more, but that's fine, because we want this background to be just kind of, you know, just kind of a vibe, okay? And I'm going to try to keep you in the mystery for as long as I can, because I think that's going to be part of the whole fun of this. See, I'm leaving this part white right now, just cross hatching. So down here, I want it a little darker. So I'm going to take a little bit of black into this gray right here, and I'm going to make a little darker gray. Not much, just a little. Okay? And when you've got that, start from the bottom left corner, do your cross hatching again. Just back and forth, real free, loosening up. Basically what I'm doing, we're just creating a little surface, a little background area for our paint to stick on. We're filling in those holes if you're working on canvas or canvas board. And I'm just coming up here. Don't be afraid to just scrunch your brush around. Now what you can do if you've gotten your edge is go ahead, dip back in your first gray that you made. Oops, I touched my wet canvas. And I'm just kind of cross hatching back and forth. I'm going to cover up those fingerprints. Just like that. If it's getting sticky at all, you can just dip your brush a little bit in water. So you should have this going, right? Just a gradual kind of thing happening. And then I'm going to go ahead and rinse my brush because I'm going to go into the white right now. All right, so I rinsed my brush and I wiped it off really good. And I'm going to dip into the white, and I'm going to start with the white at the top right-hand side of the canvas, pulling it down. Pulling it down into the gray, just pulling it down, doing some cross hatching. See, we're just getting a vibe. Get that vibe happening. You can pull it into the gray more, and then you can also pull it back up into the white. Okay, here we go. So you should end up with something like this. Now, remember, this is not about being perfect. This is about moving paint around and just creating something. And that was my other motivation for not showing you guys what you're going to be painting, because I find that some people will look at the painting they're going to paint and they're going to feel all intimidated and be like, oh my God, I could never do that, and mine doesn't look like hers and everything. So that's the dialogue we want to get out of the way. Just want you to have fun. And yours does not have to look exactly like mine. That's going to be the beauty of this painting when we're done, to be able to see what everyone's interpretation of this is going to be. Okay? So at this point, if you've got this ready to go, I'm going to hit this with a hairdryer, because we want this to be really dry before we go ahead. And when you use a hairdryer to dry your acrylic paints, don't hold it in one area because you don't want your paint to burn. Okay, move it around, touch it, and make sure it's dry. That's how you can feel it. So as I'm drying it, when I'm touching it, when paint is still wet, it almost has kind of a cold feeling to it. And when it's dry, you'll feel more of almost like a chalky feel. That cold feeling will go away. Okay, exciting. So at this point, I'm just going to wait for you all to tell me that you're ready, because the next step, the fun begins. Not that we're not having fun already, okay? So you all just let me know when you're ready to go, and the next thing we're going to be using is our chalk. Now remember, if you were not successful in finding your chalk, at this point you can just use some gray, and your detail brush, but hopefully you have your chalk. Okay, so I'm going to wait for a good amount of people to say that they're ready to move on. Okay, and in the meantime, we do have some more. We have another free painting coming up soon, which which I hope you guys join in on. This is not a mystery painting. We're going to be painting a Rudolph Saturday, November 27th, which is the Thanksgiving weekend, in this same time slot. So I hope this time slot works for you. And we can talk about that a little later, but just thought I'd shoot a little commercial in there. Okay, so Vincent and Candy and Margie and Patty's ready. Thank you, Candy. I know, he's so cute. He's so kissable. So we do have, I think we do have about 44 painters right now. So I'm going to wait for a good majority of you guys to say ready. Denise, Michelle, Margaret, Vincent, everybody. Okay, very cool. Very good. Wouldn't this be fun if this were a Zoom class? So in the future, I am going to be doing some Zoom painting classes so that I can see you guys and you can wave and show your paintings and ask questions. But but this is fun because I'm in the mystery because I can't see you guys. Okay, you guys are ready. Okay, now we're going to be doing 2 objects. All right. For the beginners, you don't have to do both objects. You can put the circles of both objects on, but you don't have to paint both of them. You can only, if you want to, you're welcome to only focus on the object on the left. All right? That's going to be the easiest way for you beginners if you're really nervous about this, or even if you haven't painted before. Focus on the object on the left, okay? And you don't even have to put both objects on, but you'll see as we go, okay? So for beginners, I hope that is good information. So the objects we're going to draw on with our chalk are egg shapes. All right, so I'm going to do, and it's about in the middle, a little bit to the left. So don't do this line, or you can actually put this line on right now like this if you want. You can do that. This really light line to kind of get where your objects are going to be. That's fine. That's the beauty of chalk. So it's barely visible, I know. So that's on purpose. So our first egg can go right here. It's an egg shape. It can be a circle too, but I kind of want it to be an egg. Okay. And then the second egg is going to be a little bit to the right of that line, a little bit lower than this egg over here, and then it's going to dip below this line here, okay? Oh, Trista, no, I think you're going to be okay with your blue chalk. So go ahead and try it, because the beauty of the chalk is you can just wipe it away. And I think working with our grays, blue is going to be totally fine. So Trista asked, what if her chalk is blue? Should she just use the gray paint? Blue chalk is fine. Actually, probably any colored chalk is fine. I was just using white, and I think blue will be great. Okay, so beginners, you can keep this circle on here for reference for later. When we get to the end of this painting and you see what this turned out to be, you might want to just go back and watch the replay of this video and make this one too. Okay? I feel like I'm playing a game show, trying to keep the mystery happening. All right? Okay, so Gina's asking, what is in the upper right corner, light gray or white? Right here, right at this part is white. And then we just kind of pulled it down. Okay, pulled it down. I hope that answered your question. So for our next egg shape. We are going to put another circle. This is going to be a round circle, and it's going to be sitting right on top of this egg next to our line, and you can see this egg goes right through this circle, if that's making sense. And we are also going to place another circle over here, which is this is going to be a little closer to the left edge of this egg. And it's going to be interesting to see when you figure out what you're painting. Okay, so do we have our egg shapes? Now we are going to, do you see where these two circles meet? I'm just going to make like a triangle, a little triangle. I hope you can see that. I'm not bringing it down too far, and if you feel like you brought it down too far, here's the beauty of working with chalk. Just wipe it off and bring it back up here. So the triangle is almost like right at the edge of that circle. Okay? Deb loves mysteries. Well, you are in the right place. All right, and then over here we're also going to put a triangle, but we're going to put it right here. I don't know if that's showing up good, but it's fine. You'll get the idea anyway. Okay, if you got your, oh my goodness! Someone might have guessed it, but it looks like Weebles. Weebles, remember Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down? I think these are going to look. So it might be that Maru. Is that how you pronounce your name? Is it Maru or Maru? That's a beautiful name. It might be that, but what if that's too obvious, and what if that's not what it is? Okay, for this circle up here, we're going to put just a half circle. And then over here where your triangle met the circle, we're going to just do another half circle like that, if that makes sense. So I know you can barely see it, but you'll get the vibe of what's going on here. And so this is the important part because we're laying out the whole painting. Let's go back to this one on the left, and where this circle met the egg, I'm going to do another little half circle. So if y'all have any questions so far, having any problems, let me know. So again, beginners, you can just stay with the one on the left if you want. Okay, and the egg on the right, we're going to maybe a little bit halfway up do a line like this. So we've got lines going on. Okay. And then over here, where this line met the egg, we're going to go down to the middle with a straight line and come back up to where it meets over here. And now we've got a triangle. And then we're going to put one line down the triangle. Okay, and now we're ready for some paint. Exciting. Let me know when you guys are ready for some paint. So I'll pull it up to the camera a little bit if that helps you see what I've got going here, okay? Good, I've got some thumbs up happening. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into our gray paint, and we're going to kind of sketch this out. So I'm going to dip my, we're going to use our round brush. So I'm dipping it into my water. I'll show you this. I'm dipping it into my water, and then as I dry it off, I'm twirling it, and that's how you get a really wonderful point on one of these small round brushes. So, and if your gray paint has gotten sticky, you can add a little bit of water. So we'll see how my gray paint is. Also, if we're painting with our gray paint at this point, which was the background color, we're going to want it to stick out a little bit. So we'll either pull in some white or a little bit of black. So let's see how that goes. Okay? So I'm going to dip into my gray. And I'm just dipping in and I'm twirling my brush to get a nice point. Now when you paint on your chalk, it's going to be a little weird at first because it's chalky, but the chalk will go away, okay? So on this left-hand side, we're going to follow this line. Now already I can see that that is going to not show up, so I'm going to make some darker gray right away. And you'll probably want to do that too. Not black, but a nice dark charcoal gray. Not ice cream either, right? Okay. Twirling my brush because I want to get a nice tip for sketching. Go back over here and let's follow the left line. And it might be kind of chalky and weird painting over the chalk, but that's okay. That's okay. So I'm just following. And the chalk's going to go away too, so. And don't stress out, doesn't have to be perfect. So we're following the outside lines of our egg, none of the inside lines yet. That's my poor bird not getting any attention if you hear the strange screaming. Oh. She always does this during my painting lessons. So it's going to look like maybe a pine cone, right? Or maybe a top. Remember, kids don't play with tops anymore. I think I'm showing my age. Tops. I was a little toy when I was a kid. So beginners, you don't have to move over here. You can stay with your one on the left. For everyone else, let's go over to this one as well and follow those outside lines. My bird. Her name is Raka. She's a blue and gold macaw, and she is the boss of me and everybody in the house, as you can hear. I may have to run and close her blinds for a minute. But this is what we should have so far. It should look like maybe 2 pine cones, maybe 2 Christmas lights hanging on a string on a tree, right? Maybe some cool yard lights, maybe. Okay, if you guys are ready to keep going, let's, while we've still got our gray going here, let's take this darker gray. And do you remember this line that you put? So beginners, this is for you now. We're on your object. Remember this middle line here? Let's do these kind of strokes. Let's just kind of sketch in this area. And you can leave some of that gray showing. Whatever this is, we're going to make it look kind of hairy. It can go up over that line a little bit. All right. And then that same color for people painting both objects. There's this middle line here on this side. We're going to take this dark gray color and just do a little bit in here up to this second line, only on this side. Just kind of sketching it in. All right. How y'all doing so far? I'm so excited. I'm gonna rinse my brush and wipe it off. Not that I really had to for the next color we're going into, but I would like to do that. So I'm rinsing my brush and just getting like a nice tip. I like to just kind of do that. Or when I rinse it off, I just like to, you know, grab the tip to keep the tip nice. So if you all are ready to keep going, we're going to dip into our black now. So I'm just dipping into the edge of the black and I'm twirling the brush. Get that nice tip again. Now, if any of you want me to slow down, please go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, we're just going to go in. Beginners, we're going to start on your object first. Remember this line we did up here? Let's sketch that one out. And remember, the chalk is a little weird at first, but that's okay. It goes away. Let's just sketch that out. Like that. All right. And then remember our triangle we did. So you'll have the general idea of where the triangle is. I want it to be kind of close to this area, this like eye shape here. So we're going to start here and just kind of sketch that triangle down to where this other line was for your circle. I'm going to do just a triangle. I'm going to bring it back around like this. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same on this right hand object. We're going to follow this line here. Totally okay if you're getting chalk on your brush and your paint. Totally okay right now. And then remember, this object here had a triangle, so we're going to just follow that triangle here. Okay. I think you guys are probably going to start to figure this out. So let's go back in. Beginners, you can fill your side in on your object at the top here with the black. We're going to fill in the eye shape and this triangle. And for everybody else, the other shape as well, this eye shape. Maybe I'm giving this away, calling it an eye shape. You see the two as they're coming together here and here. Fill these both in, just like that. I hope you guys are having fun with this so far. I am. Okay. if you're ready to move on. I'm rinsing my brush. And now I'm wanting I'm wanting a lighter gray. So remember we have our charcoal gray and our kind of medium gray here. Let's pull some of that out, or you can do it right next to your white and add some white, because I actually want a lighter gray. A lighter gray than our original one we mixed. So you just keep adding white paint until you get a lighter gray, and you've got this for comparison. And I'm twirling my brush. Sue, I know, right? I'm twirling my brush, and with my light gray, I'm actually going to go down to the bottom of this here. Make it, just pull it up like this. All right, and then I'm also going to take this same color and add it here, and my strokes are going to go down or up, but we're just going to kind of go over this area right here. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to use this light gray, pulling it down like this to about here. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just kind of get the vibe, because at the end when you figure out what it is, you know, you can always go back and just really kind of add some fun details. All right. So I'm going to take that same light gray, and I'm going to go in this band here. Actually, I want him to be this object a little darker right here. There we go. So you see what I just did? I just mixed a little bit more darker gray to get that happening over here. You see that? Just kind of hairy, like that. And I'm going to take this lighter gray. So I've got about 3 grays going here now. The charcoal, a middle gray, and the way lighter gray, and then our original gray. So I've actually got a darker one between our middle one and our dark one, if that makes any sense. Did that make any sense? So I want to get a little bit more gradual effect down on this first shape over here. There we go. That's kind of what I want. And you can always add a little water. So I'm adding a little water just to pull it down like this. There we go. That's what I want. Just like that. That's the vibe. That's the vibe. Okay, let me know if you guys are having any troubles or questions, or if I'm going too fast. I'm also going to go back to the lighter gray that I just did, and on the second object, remember we did this triangle? So to the left of the triangle, I'm just going to kind of fill this in here. I'm leaving a little bit of that gray line so I know where I'm at. And then also over on this side, just to fill it in. So you should have this so far. something like this. You know, it doesn't have to look exactly like this, but something like this, because these objects that you're creating exist in nature, and every single one of these objects looks a little different in the world. So it's okay if it looks similar. Sue said, why is hers a seahorse? Because maybe it is a seahorse. Maybe your eyes are seeing what it is. Maybe it's a nose. Maybe I'm having you guys paint this painting upside down. Did you ever think about that? I very well could be having you paint upside down. All right, I want you to go to your white now. So make sure you have a really, really super clean brush. And stick it in the white and twirl it around so you're getting a nice point still. And right in this area where we haven't filled any paint, Patty, gee, I wonder why. Patty said Miss Linda Sue is copying me, and I wonder why. So I'm going to take this white. Now we're going to just fill the rest of this area in that's under this black. Maybe it's an eye, because I love this. It's an eye shape. So we're just going to fill this in with white. And as you fill it in with white, you can do your strokes like I'm doing, like just little, almost like you're sketching, right? Can you see how I'm doing that? I'm just pulling them in. It's okay if there's some gray showing in the back. That's awesome. Okay. So I'm just pulling this into this gray area. Because I know you think you see what you're seeing, and you're partially right, but not all the way. Your eyes are tricking you right now. You think you see what you're seeing. So I'm just pulling this down over this other gray. So we're not actually blending, we're just actually pulling some almost like like to call it hairy. And then over on this side of the object, you can actually cover that gray line now. And on this side, you can also bring this white up along the egg shape, just like that. Don't overpaint this part. If you want it to be more white, let it dry, hit it with your hair dryer. Don't keep painting it, because it's actually going to lift your paint and it's not going to work. So if it's kind of drying and it's a little darker and it's moving into your gray, go ahead, hit it with a hair dryer, and then come back and paint some more white, which we're probably going to do. But I'm moving on over to the object on the right. And this is also where we're going to add our white. It's going to come around here, and I'm going to make this white go all the way to the edge now at this point. So Trista said she had to step away. Looks like you'll be back to finish this with the replay. I don't want to see the end. Good. I don't want you to see the end yet. Okay, so you're leaving. Well, you know, Trista, when you're done with your painting, I would love for you to share it in the event group, in the discussion. I would love everyone to post their paintings in the discussion. Oh, Lori, what a bummer so Lori asked if she can watch from the beginning. You'll be able to watch from the beginning when this broadcast is done. It'll take like a few minutes. It'll come back on as a replay. So if you don't want to know what this is, you might want to not watch at this point. If you want to stay in the mystery. But if you just want to watch for the process and watch the reveal happen and then come back and paint it yourself, you're welcome to do that too. Yeah, that's a bummer that Facebook didn't tell you it was starting. That's why I suggest people always refresh your browsers. I actually have to click my browser a couple times and refresh it before my live will even show up on my page as well. All right, so. Okay, Lori, well, I look forward to your painting, okay? All right. Okay, that's our white. I'm also going to take my white over to this other shape over here, and I'm going to add it here at this point, underneath this egg shape. Just like that. That's where our white is going. And then I'm going to do a little white on this side of the egg, just a little bit, sketching it in, just like that. And down here on this side too at this point. That's how we can tell where this shape is. It'll stand out from your gray, okay? Just like that. Okay, how's everyone doing? I'm excited for you. This is really a lot of fun. Let me know when you're ready to move on. We're going to move on to our darker charcoal gray. Now, if your paint looks like mine's a little dried up and I want to mix a little more, so I'm just going to go ahead and mix a little more. Maybe I'm just going to dip a little bit of water in there to kind of reactivate it, make it not so like pudding. I want this to be a charcoal gray. Okay. Got a nice little charcoal gray. And we're going to go to, so beginners, if you're just working on this object, yeah, let's go to this object first. Let's take this charcoal gray and go along this side of your egg. And then bring it back up to this area. You might want it a little darker. I want it to stand out a little bit. I'm doing this. I'm making a little triangle. And then I'm going over to this object. I'm going to this triangle here that we had, and I'm going to paint in the triangle. If you guys are enjoying this painting so far, I would love it if you follow my page or click like or whatever you'd like to do, and that way you get more notices of things when I post them. There's a lot more free paintings coming up. There's some, oh, and by the way, fill this triangle in while I'm chatting. There's a lot more free paintings coming up. There's going to be a free mystery painting every month, the second Saturday of every month in this time slot with minimum amount of colors. The next one is in December. We're going to add one color, so it's going to be black, white, red, and green. Because it's Christmas, of course. That's going to be a mystery painting, so same supplies, adding in green. So you see what I'm doing here? I'm just I filled in this triangle, and I'm kind of just pulling it up, making it a little hairy again. Okay. And then I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm still going to stay over here on this right hand object. And I think this is probably going to start to reveal itself at this point. I'm going to dip into some white and twirl this around. And so you remember we had that line right down the middle? I'm just going to go a little bit to the left of where that center used to be, and I'm going to pull a thin line down to here, down to the corner of the triangle. Dip back in to get a nice point. I'm going to do it again right next to it. I'm going to pull down to this point, and again, keeping these lines really thin. And then I'm going to do the same on this side, but I'm going to stop at this imaginary line in the middle, okay? So you can actually even start at the imaginary line and go back up like this. Up, up like that. I hope you can see the canvas okay. I'm going to pull it up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. See that? Okay. I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm going to go back into my wonderful charcoal gray. And now we're going to add some elements that weren't on there before. So we're still staying on our right-hand side object. And right around this point, I'm just going to make like a half circle like this. And then I'm going to do another half circle like that. Okay. Funny looking so far, right? It's like, you didn't expect me to add those shapes, did you? And I'm telling you, we might be painting upside down. We might. So I'm going to fill that in with we're still staying with our charcoal color. And beginners over here, just hang out. I'm coming right over, back over to you. So after you fill out this first half circle over here, you can pop your brush into some white and just kind of define where it is. Does that make sense? So I just put it there so I don't lose that curve. And then I'm going to go back in with my charcoal and I'm going to fill out this guy down here. Okay. And then let's dip in some white while we're over here. Just kind of define these lines. And I'm going to go ahead and define this line at this point. So now I think it's really starting to reveal itself. Probably. Okay. Okay, beginners, we're going to your object. Let's take one of these light grays. Any of these, like this light gray or the lighter gray. and everybody, dip your brush and twirl it, and right about here, do a circle. Not a super big one. And then over here, right about here, let's do another circle. Okay? All right. Now wipe your brush off. Let's dip back into black. Twirl it so it could want that nice point. Let's go back to that circle we just did and put black in the middle of it, but you're leaving an edge of the gray. So let me show you what I just did. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to go to both of these circles and add black, but we're leaving an edge. And then wipe your brush off again. Dip it into the white. Twirl it. And barely touch this. I'm going to show you. Barely touch it and put a white dot right here. That's going to be everything. All right. Is everyone doing okay so far? Okay, if you're ready to move on, let's go back to our chalk for a second. Okay? Let me know if you guys are ready. Let's go back to our chalk for just a second. And now the reveal is going to come pretty quick, I think, after we do this. But let's take our chalk and we're going to go to our left hand object. We're going to go right about here. Remember when we put this dark area in, we're going to go right about here. And I want you to just pull out a little bit, a line. Now, if you feel like you did the line too long, like that, you can, of course, just come back up and wipe it off. That's the beauty of working with chalk. And then I'm going to come back in close to this line and flare it out a little bit. And now I think you see what we're painting. I think. And we're going to take this and do like some curves down here, okay? All right. Let's go back to our charcoal gray and fill that object in. And I know you're looking at these objects thinking, well, I think I know what it is, but they look a little weird now. Well, we're about to add an element that's going to pull it all together, and you'll be like, oh, now I see. Okay. So we're filling this object in. Go ahead and fill it in all the way. I have to add, I'm dipping my brush a little bit in my water and remixing it because your paints might be getting a little dry. Excuse me. And the bird is back. All right. So once you have that object filled in, go ahead. You don't have to rinse your brush or anything. Go ahead and dip into your black. And we're just going to pull some lines. And I'll lift my canvas up so you can see. See? And then while I'm in the black, I'm going to go back up here and just kind of define this shape at this point with the black. I'm going to make like a little V. Like that. And then I'm going to also grab some white and define this shape as well by putting white along that bottom edge. And we'll do a little white at the top down here, just like that. All right. And if you're ready, it's time for the reveal. You guys ready? Dip your brush into your black, get a really nice twirling sharp tip. Right at the top of this area right here. Pull it out a little bit and do a very, very small point. And now you know what you're painting, right? Now you know what you're painting. Let's do that for our other, now I can call them guys and not objects. Let's go over here to our little guy on the right and do the same thing, and keep these little beaks small. Just real small. Okay? Aren't they cute? So while we're still in our black, we can come along these areas, and you really might want to dip into some water at this point to make your paint moving a little better, twirling it. You might want to go back along these little caps at this point and make these kind of hairy looking, right? Because we want them to look like feathers. So I'm just pulling these guys in like that, both sides. Thank you, Dab. I know, right? Oh, I've been so excited about you guys painting this because I just wanted to show you the painting, because I've painted it a couple times to get my moves down, to keep you guys in the mystery, and I just wanted to jump out and go, this is what we're painting, it's so cute. So I'm making these hairy a little bit. See that? Okay, yes. And while we're in our black, let's go up to their wings. Now you know these are wings, and I'm just going to define these wings over here a little bit with the black. And there's a reason we have not put a tail on this guy yet, okay? So there's a reason for that. So at this point, I'm just going to wait for you guys to catch up. You'll remember that we have these chalk lines on here. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe all these chalk lines off. I'm going to stay away from my paint though, of course. But we had those chalk lines. I'm going to drink some water. Excuse me. Oh, Candy painted chickadees on your mailbox. I would love to see a picture of that. Yeah, so I'm going to hit this with a hairdryer just real quick. And we are almost done, you guys. We're going to come, there's a new fun part we're going to do, but I'm just getting rid of these chalk lines at this point. And now I'm going to go ahead and use my chalk again. So when you guys are ready, let's go back to our chalk. Sorry, it's so dry. I'm in Southern California and it's just really dry right now. Okay, so these guys are going to be sitting on a branch together. So you can use your chalk to kind of define where you want the branch. And I want them to look kind of cozy while they're sitting on their branch. So you want to bring the branch kind of close to their bodies, close to their body, and make the body go underneath like this. And this branch is actually going to go over this tail. So it can, you know, wherever you want it to be. If you don't like what's happening, you of course can erase your chalk until you get where you want your branch to go. And you want to make kind of, I always call it a lyrical movement, a melody on your moves on your canvas, because you want the eye to just flow over the canvas. So let's say the branch goes like this. Let's bring the branch up a bit. So you have a movement. Do you see that nice movement, right? And then this guy is going to have a tail. Oh my God, you guys, that parrot. She keeps screaming. I'm going to have to close her blinds and make her go night-night for a little bit. So we're also, this guy is going to have a tail. So again, you can go ahead and we're going to draw in a tail that is going to look like, I don't know, like an ice cream spoon. Does that make sense? Like those wooden ice cream spoons. And again, you don't want the tails too long on these kinds of birds because they're short. While I'm doing that, I'm going to make my bird go night-night. Hold on. Okay, I'm coming back, you guys. So when my bird sees something outside that scares her, that's her alarm. So anyway, getting back real quick to the tails, these birds are really kind of, you know, contained and squatty and cute. So you don't want the tails to be too long. Again, because you're using chalk, if you feel like you did it too long, you can come back in and redraw it, but you just want to kind of want a shape like this for your bird. All right, so we're going to put that, we're going to paint all this in. We also want to add legs to our birds, so let's put a leg there. There's probably going to be a leg there, and there's going to be one sticking out here. Okay, and then we're going to add some additional branches to get more of a visual flow. So let's pull a branch in from up here and just kind of make it come this way. You can also make your branches more jagged if you want, but I personally like a flow. So I'm going to pull this down like this, maybe one up like that. Maybe this branch is going to come out like this. And then I would love for a branch to come down like here. So I don't want to pull this branch down from here because that's too much of a visual cluster. So if you go up here and maybe come down this way, pull a branch that way, and that's going to give us kind of a good visual movement of where our branches are, all right? So let's go ahead and finish this guy's tail. So we're just going to do that with our charcoal color. Again, see mine's pretty dry, so I'm gonna dip into some water, and then I'm gonna pull in my medium and just mix some more of that real quick. And I'm going to do it over the dry paint so I can see how close I am to my original charcoal paint. That makes sense? Okay. And I'm going to fill this guy's tail in. It's okay if you're getting chalk on your paintbrush, that's going to go away. Just making like a little ice cream spoon. That's what I call it. You know, those wooden spoons that you get in those little ice cream cups. I love those little wooden spoons. And fill that in. Just like that. And you can dip into your lighter gray and kind of go back in and almost like mimic the lines you just did inside. And that's just kind of implying, you know, he's got more tail feathers there, and then they're kind of, you know, wrapped up there. So I'm going to just define this one again. And now he's got a little tail. So I'm also going to rinse my brush and just pop into my white and just kind of define this tail around the edge down here just a little bit. I just want it to pop out from the gray a little bit. And you can put a little bit more white on the right hand side of your bird, because now you can see that this white that we had up in the right hand corner is actually your light source. So I'm just going to pull some white back in onto my bird real quick while I'm in my white. And then if you're ready to move on, we're going to go to the branches. Okay? I hope you're liking this so far. Isn't it cute? It's so cute. So for the branches, I want the branches to be a really dark charcoal. Pretty much like this one. And I think if you're like me, you might need to, again, just mix a good quantity of your charcoal gray. Do it over your charcoal, again, so you have a comparison of how dark we're going to get it. We want to get it pretty dark because these are going to be our branches. Here we go. Remember, if you guys are really enjoying yourself, I would love for you to click like on my page and follow my page, because I would love for you to get all the other notifications of the free paintings coming up, and I post tutorials and lives and information, and I'm just so happy you have all joined me today, and it's awesome. I have some Zoom paintings planned, and just a whole bunch of fun stuff. So I would love for you to be able to get those notices and have the choice of joining in if you want. Also, we've got that new other free painting coming up, Rudolph, your friend Rudolph, and I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end, so stick around. So, okay, if you've got your good charcoal, and you might want to add a little bit of water to it because we do want this to flow pretty good, because these are going to be your branches. So for your branches, just start following your chalk area. And we do want it to stay a little thicker to the left, going thinner to the right, but we can adjust that as we go. So let's just follow these lines right now, just to get our lines onto our canvas. I'm so happy you guys are painting with me. I hope you're having so much fun. I'm excited about all the beginners who are here. I'm really interested to know how your experience has been and if you're enjoying yourself. So I'm just following these branches. Now, using when you use these round brushes, you kind of put pressure on as you start, and then you lift the pressure as you go, and that's how you get your thinner line at the end. And don't stress, we're just trying to put where our branches are at first. And they don't have to be smooth lines. These are branches. It's a tree. Trees grow however, you know, so it's okay if you have shaky hands, like I have a little bit of a shaky hand going on right now. You know, so they're branches. And branches just grow. And I bet your branches are beautiful right now. And so you want the branch to have a thinner tip right at the end, of course, okay? So let's just follow these branches. So as you can see, I should have mentioned, this branch went over this guy's tail, but the branch is going under this guy. If for any reason you painted over this bird, you can just come back in and filled in the area that you painted the branch over. But we do want this guy on the right. We want his tail to be hanging over on this side. All right. So I'm going to go up here. I'm adding a little bit more water because I still want to have a really nice flow to my branch, and I'm just going to pull this in. Pull it right into where our light source is. Pull this guy down. You don't have to stay on your chalk lines. That's just your little map of where you're putting everything. I'll pull this right into my area, and then I would love to pull another guy down like this. So you see how my visual flow is happening? I'm kind of moving around and curling around, and it's really kind of putting the birds in a very, very cozy area. So once you've got those flowy lines, let's go back in and make them a tad bit more authentic. And by that, I mean we're going to add a little bit more thickness in certain areas. So again, we'll go to the left-hand side of our canvas and we'll make this line a little thicker because it's a thicker branch, right? And then anywhere where the branch is coming out from another branch, you can kind of make a little joint area. Because branches get thick to thin, if that makes sense. And if you have any weird kind of painting areas you want to fix, you can fix it like that. So see, that's what we want so far. Very cool. And we're so close to the end, and it's going to be so cute. And wait till you see what the red is for. So cute. You guys, it's so cute. Okay. Once you have your flowy branches, and don't stress out if I'm moving too quick, you can just watch as you go, but super easy. My black has gotten a little bit like pudding, so I'm going to add a little bit of water because I want this one to flow as well, but I still want it to stay kind of thick. So for this, make sure you twirl your brush and give it a super nice point. We're going to go back in and we're just going to kind of sketch and add black under the branch. So I'm just going to kind of sketch it like this. Probably have to dip a lot into my black here. I'm just kind of sketching underneath the branch. Going back up here. And I'm finding I really do need a lot more water to get a nice point. Just kind of sketching it. So we're only doing it kind of on the bottom and the left-hand side. So your light source is coming from here. So imagine the light source coming this way, right? So your black would be on this side because it's the shadow. Your black would be coming from this side, if that makes sense. Just loose, you know, just a suggestion. It's okay, just loose. Underneath these guys. Over here. See, I'm just kind of, you know, it's bark. That's what we're implying, that this is like bark on the branches. So just like super loose, sketchy, sketchy, sketchy. Super loose. A little bit underneath here, underneath this one. Just like that. And then while we're still in this color, you can go back over to one of your grays, whichever gray is active enough for you. I'm going to go back into my charcoal and I'm going to spin my brush and we're going to put legs on our little guys. So you remember your chalk marks. So we're just make them and make sure they're thin because these guys have really thin little legs. Keep them real thin, just a suggestion of where the legs are. And then a suggestion of their claws. So I'm just going to kind of make, you know, kind of put a claw here. Make a little bump underneath, like they're holding on. And then also, while you're in that charcoal, and you can just watch me if you're still working on your branches. Don't stress out. You could do that. You can come back to this part later when we're done. But I'm going to still take that dark charcoal and I'm going to go back to the tops of their heads. And I'm just going to do a couple strokes on the front of this guy's face and then on the top of this guy's head. And that's going to imply that this is round. I hope I've got this in the, let me stand up and see if I've got this in the camera. And then I'm going to put a little bit of gray here, gray on top to imply, just to imply some dimension. That's what I want to say. Imply some dimension. All right, you guys, isn't this cute? I'm getting so excited for you. Can you show the feet up close? Yes. So all I did was we don't really kind of have any feet yet. So I just kind of made an implication that you know, I just did this. So now to kind of define the feet, you can dip into your white or your lighter gray and you can just pop on a highlight. Just like that. We're just implying that they're little feet, right? Just an implication. And then also, if you want to start adding more details, I'm going to rinse my brush, really get a nice clean brush, and I'm going to dip it into my white. And I'm going to come back in and just give them some little pants. Just some little pants. I'm dipping into white again. because they might be cold. So you can make them fluffy a little bit down here. Okay. Trying to keep each other warm. Okay. All right. I can't wait to see what you're painting. Okay, you guys. So now let's hit this with a hairdryer real quick. We're almost done. Go get your red paint. Get your red paint. Super excited. Get your red paint. Put it somewhere. You're not going to need a whole lot of this. Put it somewhere on a clean area on your plate. Get a nice clean brush. We're still using our round brushes. Get your nice clean brush. We're almost done. While I wait for everybody to get your red paint, here is my next free paint party. I call him your friend Rudolph. I designed him the other day, and every time I look at him, he just makes me smile so much. So this is going to be Saturday, November 27th, which is the Thanksgiving weekend, and I did that on purpose because I thought you might want to have fun with your family and paint this. It's in the events on my page. Go up to events, and you will find Your Friend Rudolph, Saturday, November 27th. It's free. In the event is your supply list, and it's in this time slot. So hopefully this time slot works for you. And then also I want to show you something else real quick. If you guys have really enjoyed painting these birds and you want to take it a step further, I've got this painting coming up. This is called Winter Cardinals event. It's going to be a pre-recorded tutorial, and it's going to be in an event. It's going to be in a private group in the event. So if you just go up to my events and you find Winter Cardinals events, it's only $15 because it's obviously more involved. But now since you've painted these birds, maybe you want to, take it a step further and go, wow, let's do this. So there's a little PayPal button in there. You can get your tickets, and it's only $15. And once you click on purchasing your tickets, you'll be invited into a private group where you're going to see, this one has tracers to help you trace out to make it easier, or you can do it freehand like we did today. So this is great. So I'm actually going to post the tutorial on November 24th, but you can purchase your tickets even today because all of the tracers are already in the group, the tutorials are in the group, and you can join the group now and just get ready to paint that. So that's coming up. And then real quick before we go to our red, our next mystery painting is in this same time slot in December, second Saturday of December at 10 o'clock, and we're going to be using red, white, black, and green. Again, it's going to be free, and your supply list is going to be the same supply list as you did today, only we're adding green. So I hope you can come to that and tell your friends. So hopefully you all have your red out, ready to go. You've got your nice clean brush. We're going to dip into the red. And ready? We're going to, at the ends of these branches, we're going to start adding little round red berries. And I'm just I'm letting them float in the air, because that's kind of like a style I created that I love, because if you're looking at these birds from away back, you might not see the little branches. connecting the berries to the branch, but you're totally welcome to add little stems and connect the berries to the branches. But what I'm doing is I'm just making little clusters, random clusters of small little berries. And some of the berries can be in front of the branch to make it more of a 3D effect, but just little clusters. Some of them can go off the canvas, down here. There's one down here. Isn't this cute, you guys? I hope you're having a fun time. Isn't it sweet? It is so cute. I think you're going to want to give this as a gift. Like what a cute little stocking stuffer, or if you have to do a little mystery gift in a little group you're in. And I will show you how to add some acrylic varnish to it at another time. And I'll post that in the group too when I'll do that. And I'll do that as a live, but then you can just watch that anytime. And so you might want to add a glossy, nice little varnish to it to make it really pop. Okay, what do you think? And we still have to add one more thing and then we're done. Oh, Cindy, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining. We have one more thing to add and then we're done. So once you get your berries on, let's hit it with the hairdryer because we really want these berries dry for this next part. All right, and when you guys are done painting, I would love for you to post it in our group or send it to me, or just go ahead and post it on Linda's Art Club page. I'm going to create a gallery on Linda's Art Club that's going to have all of your paintings. I would love to see everyone's paintings. So our final color we're going to use is some white. Mine is really kind of dried over, so I'm just going to pour some new white. And I'm still going to use this detail brush. Lori said, thank you, great job explaining and showing us step by step. Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Vonda loved it. I'm so happy that you loved it. And Patty, Patty enjoyed it. So the final thing we're going to add is the snow. And so we're going to put snow along the top of the branches and in the air, believe it or not. So this snow can kind of accumulate in areas of where the fork in the branches are. So you can follow the branch along with a thin brush, right, at the top of the brush in sections. Oh, Nancy said that's great. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, Tammy. I'm glad you had fun. I hope you click like on my page or follow my page so that you can join me some more. So I'm just adding the snow to the top of the branch. And it can be totally organic. And by organic, I mean just, it's not a specific perfect line. And you may have to let your white dry, you know, hit it with a hairdryer and then come back and pop it in again. As you can see, it's getting gray a little bit in certain areas. But like where there's a fork in the branch, you know, maybe the snow has collected there, right? Look. Maybe the snow has collected here. Maybe it's just coming down this way. This really gives the final kind of cool vibe. There's a little snow between these guys. I'm not going to put any snow under them because I think, excuse me, I think they've been sitting here for a while. Drinking some water. And then you can pop some snow on top of some of your berries. And this is even, you know, you can keep this little painting and bring it out every Christmas and set it on your mantle or, you know, on your desk. And it's, you know, it's a vibe, right? It's just a sweet little vibe. So I'm not putting snow on all my berries. I want some to stay red. But here's the final thing we're going to do. Oh, and that's okay that way. We're going to add some snow. Cindy or Candy, I'm so glad you enjoyed painting with me. Nancy, I'm so glad you're enjoying this. Tammy, thank you. Michelle, and you were a beginner and you painted both birds. I can't wait to see your painting. I hope you post and share with us. Okay, Janine has to run. That's awesome. We're just going to add snow at this point. And when you add your snow, it's different size dots and just kind of organically. So, you know, the smaller dots would be the snow farther away. And just, you know, in areas, see how I'm doing this so randomly? Just in little groups. This is our final move, you guys. So some of my snowflakes are bigger, some are smaller. And also, if you're done with your birds, actually I want to add some more white to this bird right now. If you feel like you're done with your birds, the snow can also go over the birds. A couple drops or flakes here and there. And that's how they know it looks like they're actually in the snow together. So when you finish your paintings, please take a photo. I would love it if you were in the photo with your painting. I would love to see your beautiful smiling faces. I'm so happy you joined me. This, of course, was an absolute free event. But if you enjoyed yourself and you would love to contribute to me buying some more paint supplies and being able to design more paintings for you guys, my Venmo is up here at Linda-Delzell. Also, I take PayPal and Zelle. Linda-Delzell at AOL.com. Yes, I still have AOL. Yes, I do. I'm hanging on to my AOL. And that's our painting, everybody. That's our painting. Yes, Sue, Christmas spirit starts now. And this, this is a sweet little painting you can have up all winter, like through January and February and all of that. But here we go, you guys. This is our painting. When you're done, please sign it because you should be super, super proud of yourself. I'm going to go ahead and sign mine right at the bottom. Be super, super proud of yourself because look what the magic just happened. When you woke up this morning, this painting didn't exist. You just painted this. Oh my God. I am so, 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 so proud of you guys. So proud. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Please follow my page. Please click like. Please share your photo with me. I would love it if you were in the photo. Remember, my next free painting is Saturday, November 27th at 10 o'clock. Your Friend Rudolph. It's free. Remember that. And then also, if you want to go a step further, because now you know you can paint these cardinals with me. This is called Winter Cardinals event. This is, the group is open now. So in the event, just click find tickets. You can click on that and you can pay with PayPal or credit card or debit card. I also have my Venmo and Zelle information there. It's only $15 and it's super awesome. There's also a bunch of other free painting events on my page that we've painted in the past. You can just go up and look at events and you will see we did an ocean. We did, this one's called Cedar Lake Sunset. That's free. We have our birch tree forest. This is free. These are already on my page. And then we have the simple sunflower. These are all already on my page in the events. Just scroll down the events and you'll find all of my other free paint party paintings. Thank you for joining me, everybody. I love that you joined me, and I hope I see you again in our next parties. This is our next one coming up December, second Saturday of December. Okay. Love you guys so much. Norita said thank you for sharing your talent. Oh, you enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you, Pamela, Norita, Sue, Constance, Patty. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I can't wait to see your paintings. Okay, you guys? Talk to you soon. Bye.